Hey everyone, welcome to this second card in my Everyday Card Kit number 14 series. Really like the idea of this card. These cards are fun to make and basically you can change them up over and over again. I've made quite a few die cuts here. I've taken a stamp to add some detail on this piece and to use some little sequins and some smaller die cuts just to basically finish off the card. So to get started, there's quite a lot of layering in this, and I'm going to build this piece first and then I will stick it onto the card base. So I've used a really nice color here, and to help accent it I've got some sequins in the same color, and then I've also die cut this little strip, and I really like this flag end strip, and it's got the sewing on it, just add a little bit of detail. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all of this on top of each other, and then we will add this to the card. So I'm just going to add some adhesive now to the back of this craft colored piece, and what I've done is I've used a stamp to stamp along here, and this is just to add some interest to this piece. We're going to want this kind of going like this so that we can still see the blue. And I'm just going to move it over a little bit like that because I want to see some of the blue, but I don't want to see too much. You'll find this piece, and I've got this sentiment on here, which is going to work great with our die cut hello. And when we place this, we're just going to want to place it kind of like this so that we can see the layers below. And we'll just fiddle with that once we get the adhesive on here. And I've got this bluey green color here, and then the craft, and I'm going to place this like this so we can still see all of those layers. We're not going to see a ton of each layer, but we're going to know it's there, and this is just going to add to the interest of this card, and I think that looks really good. And now that this piece is all done, we can bring in our card base here. And you can use a tape runner here or score tape or whatever adhesive you have to get this put on the back. And I really like how easy these cards are to make. And basically you can change them up every time by using different colors, different shapes of layering pieces here, as well as the stamping. So I stamped with some words. Maybe next time I could stamp with some stripes or whatnot, just to create something a little different. Now getting into these pieces here, I have this piece here with this stitching on it, and that's just going to help bring out this word hello. And we'll also have this little piece. This little piece is going to stick up here. Really like how that looks. And then we've got our last sequence pieces to just kind of finish it up. So to start out, we're going to put this piece down first. And again, I'm going to use my tape runner here and make sure I get this on nice. And I want this kind of sticking off a little bit. I don't want it centered. I don't want it centered with this word or the card. I just want to make sure that it is on here, and then I can bring in my hello, and that will be placed on top there. Before I add the hello, I'm going to add this piece here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere this bottom piece, just the bottom half like that. So I'm just going to put adhesive to there, and then I'm going to bring this in, and I'm just going to stick this out a little bit so it's sticking over and it's not completely glued down. I think that will look really neat there. And now comes for our hello word. So you got a couple choices for this. You can use a wet glue, which is what I'm going to use, or you can try to put the tape runner on. The tape runner might be a bit sticky, and the other option you have is a Xyron sticker runner that you can run it through. If you don't have the Xyron sticker runner, no worries, we're going to use some wet adhesive right now to put this on. I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in some spare paper now, just so we don't get too messy. And I'm going to use some of this multi-medium matte glue, and this is from Ranger. This is the same glue that I use pretty much on all of my cards when I need a wet glue. And I'm just going to start dabbing, and it's kind of messy because it is a wet glue, but once we dab off the extra, it will be a lot better to work with, and you'll see that just in a second here. So I've just put the glue down like that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick it up now, and this is just a little tip. Once you've got the glue on there, we really want to get the excess glue off there so it doesn't glob. So I'm just going to tap this on to this spare sheet and get all that excess glue off. Now I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to get it placed kind of just above that stitching line is a good guide. And then once I've got it placed down, I really want to make sure that this stays down, and I'm just going to tap it with my fingers to make sure I don't squish any of that glue out. And I'm just going to put my hands down like this, fairly firm, and just hold it down for a couple of seconds to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And by holding this down, this is just going to help this wet glue just kind of stick a little bit better. Sometimes if you don't add that pressure to it, it just doesn't adhere well. We want to make sure those two little ends are on there as well, nice. And I think that looks great. Now we can bring in our little sequins to add just as a decoration. And I've picked out a little brown one to go with the brown color. And I've got this color to kind of match this one. And then I've got a shinier one just like that. Just keep moving them around till you find a place that you like them. I think I'm going to leave them where they are. So again, I'm going to bring my multi-matte medium in, and I'm also going to bring my little Sizzix tool, and this will just help me press these in. And I don't want to put too much glue on because then it'll be too messy, but with this multi-matte medium here, it is a lot nicer of a glue to use than some of the others. And then I'm just going to use my tool to help push this into place. And then once that one is on, I'm going to go to the next one. I'm just going to do a light dab there. I know there's lots of gem tools and sequence tools on the market, but I really like this one. I use it for paper piercing and my die cuts and the sequins, and it wasn't that expensive a tool, and it does so many things. So now that I've got that pushed on there, I'm going to bring in my acrylic block now, and I'm going to place this right on top of those sequins. Now I've often showed this in many of my videos, but the reason why I do this is that it will apply even pressure to all those sequins, and it will just help it glue a little bit more securely. I've given that some time to dry, and now those sequins are laying really nice and flat and have been adhered pretty good. So now I'm just going to finish off the inside of the card, and even though it's white on the inside of the card, I like to do this just to add, basically I'm doing this for two reasons: just to clean up the card. I think it looks nicer on the inside, but also the weight of the card. We have several pieces of layered paper on the front, and just to help balance off this card, we're going to have this piece on the inside. So we'll just put this down now, and that will finish off this second card in this everyday card kit number 14. Really like these type of cards because you can layer lots of different papers, you can layer different shapes. Again, you can add stamping to it. You could even add critters, stamp critters, color them and add them to this type of card. And it isn't an overly busy card. These cards also are really good because you can basically put any sentiment on them and give them for any reason. So I hope you enjoyed this second card. There are 3 cards left in this series. You can check me out on my website at kellyscards.ca. You can subscribe for more videos, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.